Welcome to a first look at our version of a tiny house on wheels we call Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. We call it Bigfoot because of its big footprint. When fully deployed, the living space is just under 400 square feet, with a footprint of roughly 20 feet by 20 feet. But when Bigfoot travels down the road, it's at a mere 8 foot by 23 foot, and a total road height of just under 12 feet. Bigfoot is made from a 20-foot high cube shipping container. It has floors, walls, and roofs that fold out from both of the long sides to transform it to approximately 3 times the original container's footprint. The folding walls and roofs are made from SIPs, or structurally insulated panels, sometimes referred to as sandwich panels. A polyurethane foam core that is wrapped in sheet metal forms each individual panel. Then those panels interlock tongue and groove style to make the walls. Those are in turn wrapped in a steel frame to form a remarkably strong and well-insulated structural roof or wall. Those structurally insulated panels achieve an R14 rating, as well as the entire remainder of the container. When ready to travel, they all fold down to take up 13 inches along each of those sides of the container, leaving enough room for a well-appointed kitchen, full bathroom, plus a couple of queen-size beds that fold out into the bedrooms. We will show you those later in the video. Outside, over the front tug of the trailer, Bigfoot has a 7-foot wide by 8-foot long fold-out deck with a roof and railings, which when folded out leads you to the front door. Also, there is a rear open-air utility room that is made from the container's doors welded in the open position. They have a roof and floor stretching between them, and the rear outside wall is covered with a steel screen to allow airflow for the components inside, like the propane tanks, a propane water heater, the exterior component of the mini-split heating and cooling system, the water pump, battery electrical system breaker box, etc. Those components all sit on the 4 wide shelves on the inside wall of that room, which dimensions are 7.5 feet wide by 4.5 feet deep by nearly 9 feet tall, which leaves a lot of room for storage both on those shelves and the remainder of the room. Also, the utility room will have all the hookups for a stacking washer-dryer unit. Other exterior features include a welded to the roof stainless steel solar panel rack. The beautiful wood siding and decking are made from WPC, or wood plastic composite. This WPC is made from wood and completely recycled plastic and is fully recyclable itself. All the white components in the exterior are made from solid surface, or Corian is a generic term. And as you may know, the container itself is made from Corten steel, which is rust-proof. All that makes for a pretty much maintenance-free exterior. The container itself has been completely gone over. Any rust was removed and it was completely reprimed and painted with Rust-Oleum brand. We also replaced the container's floor and most of the roof panels on this unit, as well as sealing the container floors with a latex-based, non-toxic roof coating. I just want to take a second to point out that this unit is not completely finished. You may have noticed that it isn't even on wheels yet. We will be fitting it to its trailer here in the next week or so. We'd like to share that with you, as well as some of the finer points of the build, as we have finished all the most difficult engineering parts already and are just in the final stretch. Now we will move on with the tour. You might have noticed here at the entrance that the interior floor is about 8 inches up from the floor of the container. That's for a few reasons, not least of which is we placed our water tank under here to keep it inside the insulation envelope, so it can buffer cold and hot water coming in from your water source. It uses a float valve to automatically fill as needed and will acclimate your water to room temperature. So you can save on some water heating expense and you don't get ice water when you just want to wash your hands. These other faces cover the 3 10-foot sliding drawers that hide under here. As you might imagine, if you think about a folding house, some of the components need assembly. These drawers are to hold those components that are needed for the final finish, such as the vertical outside corner pieces on the exterior, as well as parts from the interior, like the lighting that perimeters the ceiling line and the base molding that gets power out to the exterior walls. It all fits in here for transport, and after the home has been deployed, these drawers can be used for a multitude of other things. Let's take a look inside and check out the kitchen. You know, before we started on the long journey to build this home, we were a solid surface fabrication company. We made mostly countertops for condo developments here in Thailand. We also made thousands of pieces of furniture for those condos. We made high-end retail sales booths for the local malls. We even made complete 1 and 2 bedroom apartments that were showrooms for those developments. So a place where we should really shine is here in the kitchen. Don't know if you can appreciate it, but we really like the finish on the cabinets in here. It was done by our friends Jake and Luke over at Eurodesign here in town. It goes through a 7-step process, which includes 2 finish coats of clear. It's a very beautiful and very durable finish, and we would like to take this chance to thank Eurodesign for their efforts on our behalf. Thanks, Eurodesign. So taking a look around the kitchen, this countertop houses the sink and stove. The spot over here was customized exactly to fit a Furrion brand 2-in-1 range oven that can fit a turkey. It's a very sharp looking little unit. You will see in a lot of higher end builds. We had to jog the countertop back here so we have clearance through to the bedrooms because the oven handle sticks out from the unit a few inches. But it will slide in here like a glove. There's a very large pot and pan drawer included under the oven. It's very similar to another large drawer we put under the fridge. I should mention about this hood. I have a background in building commercial kitchens for restaurants. One thing it's always bothered me about residential kitchens is how poorly residential quality hoods perform. With that in mind, we have commissioned exclusively for our homes a commercial grade vent hood. Nobody seems to talk about it, but we know that when you live in a small space, you can be easily overwhelmed by your stove. I don't know about you, but when I start cooking, using my wok or making some fajitas, it can make a lot of smoke and a lot of flame. So I definitely need some good ventilation, especially when your kitchen makes up such a large percentage of the space you're living in. In this hood, there are 2 large fans that push the airborne grease centrifugally to the outside of the easy-to-clean rubber shrouds they're housed in. The shrouds then drain into this trough for easy cleaning. Speaking of cleaning, we were hoping you might appreciate the efficiency of this part of the kitchen. The sink and stove area is designed to be super easy to clean. From the solid surface top to the undermount sink to the stainless steel drying rack on top of it. Just wash your dishes and put them on the rack, and all the water will drain into the undermount sink. I should explain, we haven't completed it yet, but here between the sink and the stove will be our trademark dish drainer. We route descending V-grooves that slope to the sink. So anything you put here, anything you put on the dish rack will drain into the sink. We personally use this same setup at our home and have done it in countless condos. It works incredibly well and it's super efficient. Moving on, up here we have this floating shelf that will have recessed LED lighting under the lip to light the whole dishwashing area here. In fact, we have it on the other countertop as well, with the LEDs built into the hood. All the working areas in here will be beautifully lit. Under the counter you have 2 doors under the sink and a 3-drawer silverware utensil cabinet to the right of that. All the countertops and backsplashes in the kitchen are made from either solid surface or back painted tempered glass. Both of these surfaces are exceptionally easy to clean and very hygienic. So there is no grout or wood or granite to hold bacteria or get stained. Also, the cabinets on this wall, the sink and stove wall, are made from PVC boards, so they're pretty much impervious to water. I've learned through the years of building commercial kitchens that the key to scoring high with the health department is ease of cleaning. Because an easy to clean kitchen stays cleaner and therefore is more hygienic. And that rule applies to any kitchen, commercial or residential. Alright, on this other top, we cut the corner off at 45 to ease what could be a little bit of a traffic pinch point otherwise. And we made a little bit more flow. And this little niche over here will be the control center. All the switches, gauges for the systems will be located here, as well as 2 wall receptacles with USB chargers built in. So that makes 4 places to plug in AC and 4 places to plug in DC. Below this is a nice little corner cabinet we think would be a perfect place for the trash to be situated. As you go around this corner, you have an additional 3 big drawers and a really good sized door face cabinet. Here's that drawer I talked about under the refrigerator, which is a great place to put your shoes as you enter. And above the refrigerator you have a very large storage space also. Additionally, you have a good 40 inches of uppers over this generous countertop, and on the corner we have a tall flower shelf, just because everybody needs some flowers in their life. It'll have a single LED puck light at the top, and finally in this corner is this cute little cabinet, which should be a great place to keep your spices. So to summarize, the items to be purchased and installed once this home gets to North America are the Furion 2-in-1 range oven. It will need a 60-inch, or a lot of people call it apartment size fridge, which will go just inside the front door. When you turn around from the kitchen, you can see just how big this front room space is. For what is technically a tiny house, this space feels cavernous. It's about 150 square feet, a big open space to do with whatever you want. And that's not including what's left over from the kitchen. We kind of figure you might put an L-shaped couch over here and a table and chairs down the other end, or vice versa, up to you. You may be wondering about these windows. They are thermal isolated aluminum windows. Thermal isolated meaning there's a rubber break between the outside aluminum components and the interior, so as not to transfer cold or heat. They are also dual glazed with argon gas, and that's right, mini blinds in between the 2 panes. I want to point out, if you think about when these walls, floors, and roof fold up, you just can't have anything protruding from those profiles. So you have to consider things like the handles have to be inset as well. Realize that this whole wall and the windows fold down onto this floor. Needless to say, you can forget about curtains and rods. Also, interaction between the components is why we use stainless steel for all the casings, and it looks good. Back to the windows, we very purposely chose inward opening casement windows for many reasons. Mostly because we love to open the whole window, unlike sliders or double hungs or any other multitude of windows where you can only open half. When you open the whole window, you can really get the outside to come in. Additionally, they're very easy to clean. You just have the one big screen on the outside, and with these windows you have over a 3-foot square. You can pass almost anything through them. Something else I don't think we really anticipated in the design phase is that the windows end up about 7 feet off the ground. So when the house is deployed, it seems to afford one a little bit of privacy, being that high off the ground, and a little bit better view. All the interior walls are finished with a product called FRP, or fiber reinforced plastic. If you're not familiar with it, it's commonly used in commercial kitchens. That's why I knew about it, but it's used because of its toughness and ease of cleaning. Another big reason why we settle on it is because it comes in endlessly long rolls. So we bought 8-foot rolls and installed it horizontally to be completely seamless. We then polished down the glass. It's now kind of an eggshell finish. It should be practically maintenance free. It's a nicer light shade of gray, so it's fairly neutral. If you're still not sure what FRP is, it's the same stuff that you would see on the outside of a U-Haul box truck, or actually the skin of an RV, a regular RV. It's kind of bulletproof, especially when you use it as an interior wall treatment. And that's more of that maintenance-free angle we're trying to give the home. So just through this pocket door here is the bathroom. As you can see, the bathroom is incomplete at this time. We are working on our plans with all the final mechanical drawings at this point, so we cannot close this wall because of that pending. What you can see is our custom-made Japanese soaking tub. The tub, as well as the floor in here, are made from solid surface, or Corian is a generic term. All the rest of the room's walls are covered in FRP, same as the rest of the house, but with a solid surface floor and 3 inches high of base molding, and this floor drain here in the middle. This effectively makes the whole bathroom floor into a shower pan. So this is a true wet room. For us as parents, we see this as a great place for the kids to take a bath. We have 2 young boys, and we could just let them go nuts in here. Just put the TP away and you're good to go. In this corner here will be a 32-inch wide vanity. The vanity will have 3 drawers on the left and a door face on the right. I should mention that all the cabinetry components in this bathroom are made from PVC board, like the kitchen, so everything in here is basically impervious to water. To the right of the vanity here will be the toilet. Like many other homes we've seen, we'll have a regular flush toilet flange mounted flat in the finished floor. Because of it being flush and flat to the floor, you could put a composting toilet right over top of it, so you have choices. I was saying before how this is effectively a wet room, so in addition to the kids being able to go nuts, any problems with, say, a broken supply line or a drain line, you have this floor drain here as a backup. That works really well because of the thermoformed floor that slopes to the center drain. So I know it's incomplete in here, but I can show you some of the things that are going in, like this beautiful backlit mirror. It has Bluetooth to connect to your phone or a Bluetooth enabled device. It sounds really great, by the way. It also has a heating pad on the back of it that keeps it from fogging up, and a magnifying spot here to see whatever one wants to see up close. I looked in it once, only once. All of those functions will be controlled by these touchscreen buttons. Under that will be this beautiful porcelain sink top. It gives you a nice little bit of space to work with to the left of the sink. In this corner over here will be a nice tall cabinet for towels and linens, but the bottom half will be a broom and mop closet. In the kitchen, and you get to the bedrooms. I say bedrooms, but you have the option to have one big bedroom if you wish. We have kicked around this idea, but none of us could come up with a valid reason why you wouldn't want to have 2. Second room could make a super efficient office as needed and could double as a guest room. As you may have deduced, this is some assembly required hallway. There's 2 doors that are sitting in frames that are pre-hung, and the sheet metal roof and the wall complete the hallway to make effectively 2 entrances to the 2 rooms. The whole thing comes apart in minutes with exactly 13 machined screws. You may have also noticed that there isn't really 2 rooms here. There's this big gap in between. We don't have them complete yet, but between the hallway wall and the exterior wall here will be 2 5.5 foot wide by 6.5 foot high wardrobes on casters or wheels. They sit back to back to fill this gap. There will be these very cleverly constructed panels that will go above and complete a very nice sound insulated separation between the 2 rooms. When it comes time to move, as I said, the hallway quickly disassembles and the 2 wardrobes will roll into the center section of the home for transport. You can fold the house up. The two wardrobes have to go into the center section. They'll be in the kitchen. So we call these bedrooms, but where are the beds? As you may recall in the opening description, I referred to Murphy beds. So as you see, the beds fold down to take up really most of the room. But when you fold them up, the space is really transformed. It's a big open space. There's about 18 inches left at the foot of the bed for what we think should be a table or desk with a drop leaf function to make it deeper and give a bit more function. We think it would be great for your TV, monitor, whatever you want to call it, to sit here so you can both watch in bed and use it as a monitor for your computer. That should be really great for students. The huge wardrobe can fit all you need for your home office and have plenty left for clothes and more. And there's even enough room between the bed and the wardrobe to fit an office chair. Each room will also have an end table with drawers set into the wall. Those will both have a receptacle with 2 USB ports to charge your devices. Above the end table in this bedroom, there is a full height bookshelf. And this room is a few inches wider, so we call this one the master. When it comes to the design concept for Bigfoot, our main goal first and foremost was to make it a home. The reality that everyone knows is tiny homes may have wheels, but for the most part, they don't really move that much. Sure, there are some people out there who move around a lot, but realistically, you'd be better off with a regular RV like an Airstream for wind resistance and towing weight. So when it came down to the design philosophy, the fact that it moves had to be secondary to what it looks and feels like when it's settled into its spot. What I'm saying is, the more you make it about, say, some kind of push-button transition between road and home, the more you actually take away from its function and look as a home. I mean, can you imagine all those pneumatic lift arms and mechanisms? Where are you going to hide all that hardware? Anyway, the feedback is, and I think you can tell from the video, that it feels like a very tight little home, and most people who've seen it have a hard time picturing how it could possibly be able to fold up and roll down the road. All that being said, it does have wireless remote controlled winches built into the ceiling, and it is pretty cool the way it does fold up and or out. So it could be moved by 2 people, but right now we can do it with 4 of our team in one full day, soup to nuts. To clarify, that operation would be folding it up and moving it a short distance and then folding it out, ready for living in a new location. But logically, you would never want to plan to do that on any kind of regular basis.